Be very careful about how I frame this question. Is this going to be the penultimate hike of this quarter or of this cycle?
It's certainly the penultimate hike of this quarter. We think they'll do 25. They're going to be very frustrated by the way markets have rallied and financial conditions have eased, so they're going to be hawkish. We think they'll come back in March and do another 25. Then they have to pick a spot to pause and wait for the long and variable, the cumulative and lagged impacts of 475 basis points of tightening, what that does to the economy. And if it doesn't do enough, for sure, they're going to have to come back at the end of the year. So when I think of tails of, are they doing too much or too little? I think the bigger tail is they might actually be doing too little.
So let's discuss that tail. Bob, how high do you think the bar is to return later this year and start hiking again?
Well, I wonder what happens if they get into year end and their summary of economic projections are right, that unemployment is up at 4.5%, but you still have inflation at the core rate of 3.5%. They'll have failed on both mandates, and I don't think they can just let you get away with a higher inflation environment, so they will have to come back. And I think there's a lot of arguments to be worried. One, and we'll know more on Friday, the labor market is very tight. You have very low unemployment, and employment is rising at a pretty good clip. Secondly, you've got China reopening. You've got a population the size of the US and Europe put together suddenly getting out and spending. Then there's the whole energy front. We all got away with a warm winter. What happens when we get into the summer? People are driving around. What if it's a hot summer and people are cooling their homes? How much consumption is there? And when do you build the strategic petroleum reserve? But I guess the biggest thing for us that we worry about is the accumulated excess savings. It's sitting on the balance sheet of businesses, households, and state and local governments. And just maybe between March and September, it absorbs the higher price levels. In a tight labor market, you just start the next leg higher. So those are some of the things that are starting to worry us about year end.